You have all these things happening that you've never even thought were going to happen, that you've never expected, and it's your brain.
Big news that we found out is that Crosby is headed home.
They don't know when he's going to be back.
2 really serious concussions take him away from the game.
Early on was probably the scariest for me.
Given the uncertainty of Crosby's future.
Driving and watching TV, reading, couldn't really do any of that stuff.
This is the guy who the whole future of the National Hockey League is hooked to. You get a concussion, it gets worse. The danger that we've been hearing about.
It's terrifying.
Which Sidney Crosby is going to come back?
I couldn't even tell you what happened.
You've had countless hours, I'm sure, to go over the hits that led to this. Do you think Steckel intended to hit you?
I don't know. I know he said he didn't, but I guess the question I asked myself is if that was Mike Green or, a defenseman on his team that was skating up ice, and do they collide the same way? If that's one of his guys. So
does he do more to avoid him?
Well, yeah. Does that happen? If that's a Washington guy who's looking the other way and they collide and hit one another, does the same thing happen? I don't know. I've watched the hit a ton, obviously, and reminded of it pretty often, but yeah, I really don't know. I mean, that's only he really knows that.
Did you have a problem with the Hedman hit?
I didn't like it, but I mean, that's something that does happen, pretty often. I mean, not too much, but there's the odd time where you kind of get crunched there a little bit, and we know that you can't go near the head. Then that's not going to happen. Guys are going to adjust, and you see now with even the young kids in Canada, Hockey Canada, there's no headshots. This is what kids are going to grow up playing. It's going to be natural for them not to even go near the head, and I'm sure the game's going to be just fine.
So you're in favor of a ban on all headshots, intentional or not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's going to force guys to really be responsible, but after going through something like this, seeing some of the things that recently have happened, it really makes a lot of sense to kind of adjust. And whether it's this year or down the road, it's got to get there. We're asked to be responsible with our sticks, and if you accidentally high stick someone, you cut them, it's 5 minutes. So why wouldn't the same thing go when you're going to finish a hit? You've got to be responsible, and we've all been there. We've all been in those situations where you can hit a guy and you can either get him on the chin or you can make sure you make contact with his shoulder or his chest, and you're still going to hurt him. He's going to feel it, and you're going to be able to kind of make your presence known, but at the same time, you could be probably saving him from a lot of grief or a lot of different things down the road.
Do you think you'll have any apprehension in vulnerable positions?
No. I have no doubt that when I'm out there that I'll play exactly the same, and that's how I know how to play, and that's why the importance of making sure that when I'm ready to come back, is there, because when you do go to those areas and you're in those situations, you have to know that you're ready to take hit, because it's not the last time I'm going to be hit. I'm going to be hit a lot more, and I've got to make sure that everything's working well.
Sidney Crosby!
You were just coming off one of the most unbelievable stretches we've seen in modern hockey. I don't think you've ever played better for a stretch of period than you played right there. I know you say you're never going to change the way you play, but when you were at such a high level, do you ever worry, am I going to get back to that? Can I do that again?
Yeah, I think, I think even if I wasn't hurt, I would think about that. If I wasn't hurt, I would think, well, can I get back there? Because when you're we talk about it in sports, when you're in that zone, when you're feeling that good, you don't know how long that's going to last. You don't know if that's that's as good as it's going to get. You really don't know. So whether I had the concussion or not, I don't know if it would have been able to keep up that pace. But like you said, I can tell you, I felt great. Like that's probably the best I felt. And when I look back to that, that's where I want to be.
Do you find yourself daydreaming about that first game back?
Constantly. That's been on my mind for months, and you don't want to think about it too much, because you want to make sure that you kind of live in the moment. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it. That's you know, that's what you play for. I've never taken it for granted, I can honestly say that, but you know, you always say you realize how much you love something, you know, when it's not there, and that's certainly been the case.